his way out of a situation. I don't think it's good for the league, and I don't think you think it's good for the league. But what are we going to do when guys take the money? And clearly we're not like other sports where they can just cut you. If guys are taking $200 million, then giving the middle finger to their team, what are you going to do about that? Because this is the second year in a row it's happened.
Just to be clear, Ben Simmons, he isn't taking the money right now. I mean, teams have leverage as well. He's not providing his services, and they're not paying him. And on top of that, they're under the collective bargaining agreement. There's various forms of discipline, fining and otherwise, for not performing under the agreement. Now, of course, that's what contracts are for. If everybody just had oral agreements and everybody said they were going to do what they said they would, you wouldn't need these contracts. But we have them. And of course, just as we expect teams to comply with contracts, we expect players to comply with contracts. Having said that, I mean, you guys know this has gone on, not maybe for the 75 years that you just talked about, but certainly for the last 40 years in this league. They're very high-profile examples of all-star players holding out. I mean, usually those situations have been worked out. We know when you're dealing with talent, people like Kyrie, people like you guys, where there's only a certain number of people on the entire planet that can perform the skill that you guys have, that will always give players leverage. And so with the ability to withhold your services will give people leverage. And I don't think it's so simple as we'll sit back down and there'll be this great new provision in our collective bargaining agreement that will prevent this from happening going forward. Having said that, I'm sure there are ways that we can improve our current system, and it's something we'll be looking at with the Players Association. I'll just add, listening to the players you had in the feature earlier, it's not just about player versus team. It's player against player, because as you guys know, players choose situations based on who their teammates are going to be. So then when they become free agents or they get traded to a team and they had other options, for that then teammate to choose, one, while he's under contract, to say, I no longer want to be part of your organization, it hurts those other players as well. So everyone has an interest in players honoring their contracts and teams honoring their contracts in a fully operating league.
Adam Shack here, I/we. We've been knowing you for a long time, and we indeed consider you a visionary. What's next for the league? I asked that question. I'm in certain cities, and they talk about expansion and expansion overseas. What do you see as far as being next to make the league really good for the next 25 years?
At some point,